Good afternoon. It's February 15th, 2023, and today we really had a range day. The bias turned out to be up. Uh, a lot could change, though. The market closes in 53 minutes. So, we could sell off, we could rally. Who knows? I'm thinking perhaps if we continue higher, that this is our target at about 41.60. But we'll see. We're coming up short of that right now. I didn't see a lot of trades in here, unfortunately, and we'll see. Maybe there's something else when we go through it. But in the overnight, we have this move down. Let's see. Yeah, like right about here. I think there might have been a news item at 5:30. So we have this move down. Slight overshoot leads to a break. Move to a new low. We come up, and we bounce at these lows. So you might even consider going long right there, but that was in the middle of the news item. But when we test it, come back, test it once, test it a second time, and it's at the same spot. I marked this blue. I don't think in real time I would be comfortable taking it, but look at, you have 2.5 points back to the EMA, so I think that's worth taking. It bounces, goes a little higher than the midline, and I had the range drawn. The midline, so the range lows were up here, and then the range highs were up here, and that made the midline at yesterday's opening price. And as we extended and went throughout the day, we made highs and lows that were also consistently making the midline at yesterday and today's, yesterday's opening price. Mac had his drawn a little bit differently, but I like having mine drawn where it looks like it just makes sense for these lines to be at. So it makes sense for the midline to be at yesterday's opening price. People are playing that price level. So just what I have to say. I mean, he's literally got 20 more years of experience than I do. So just take what I say with a grain of salt. But anyway, we come up here. We can't break higher. And those were important highs anyway, as you can see. We come back, we get some closes a little bit lower, but then we find some support, and we go higher, and we're just going sideways here. There's just nothing in here. Perhaps you take this. I mean, that's aggressive, but it's a second entry off of the opening price. We know that's going to be an important price level, and we could go higher. So I am going to mark that. I'm not going to give it a blue, but I'm going to give it a green, and it probably traps a lot of shorts too. Then we get this move up, and you get a break, first entry, second entry. So, perhaps we get a second leg up. I mean, we'll see. Maybe. Yeah. So maybe you're looking for it to go to this measured move, and that's pretty much where it goes before it sells off. So I think a lot of people have that idea. It'd be a little nerve-wracking because it comes back and almost stops you out, but it is a second entry. Only thing I'm looking at here is, and that's where you see it, is that looks like it could be an important level of resistance. Whenever you see these dojis, you want to look at that as a potential level of resistance, and you can see that's where it turned down. So just something I've picked up along the way. And we come up here, we sell off. You don't get any second entries in here. And we're just chopping back and forth on both sides of the EMA. Perhaps you take this one on a fail break lower, but the bias was looking down earlier in the day, so I wouldn't recommend that. Then you get this higher low, but no reversal pattern. You get a break, move to a new high, and if you don't look at it, if you look at it on a larger picture, you get 1-2 legs of correction before it goes higher, and we make a leg up to a new high, try and go higher again, and it fails. I don't think you can. This is pretty tempting here, because it kind of looks like a failure, but this swing is on the upside of the EMA, so I don't think you want to take it. I looked at this as a double top, first entry, failed second entry. So you might take that, but we just got a double test right there. So it's just tough to make that call. We get some congestion that turns out to be some support from a trend, and we go higher. And you make this like triple top. You get a first entry, second entry. Unfortunately, on this chart, you don't get a good signal bar. But you find this support here, and you get like a hidden second entry that's off of this support line that makes it a double test off of the trend channel too. I'm marking this one green, but it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good to me, but there's just so much overlap. You can see a lot of people like that though. You might even take this one right here. We get a break, move to a new high, and you know, with those being the lows, and if you mark this high and it matches up with the opening price being the midline, and it's yesterday's close, that's pretty tempting. I was tempted by that in real time, but I didn't take it. And if you don't take that, you get a first entry, failed second entry, very bearish bar. I marked it green because we're going into this support level interruption, but I was talking about this failure right here and this going into the support line, but it just looks, it's been like a range day on both sides of the EMA. I think that's worth taking a risk, and you can see a lot of people like that. We get an overshoot that leads to a break. This looks like a second entry, but not on a day like today. You want to hold off on those unless you get a super strong move down, which you did, but I don't think you want to do that on a day like today. This is way too choppy and too much overlap for me. Then we come up here, and prices can't push lower probably because of that midline. And so when we come up here, you get a first entry, second entry off the midline. Perhaps you take that good bullish bar. But you got an outside bar right here, so maybe that's the second entry. But that looks like a two-legged correction. But I mean, this is a range, so it's not a good entry really, not a great entry, I should say. And we get this move up. You get a break, move to a new high. Then we just go sideways a little bit. This kind of looks to me. The reason I marked this one right here is, first of all, you could look at it as a second entry and a higher low, even though this was the higher low. But this looks like one leg to me with two legs in it, and then a leg up, and then another leg of correction. So looks like two-legged pullback. Looks like a failed second entry short. So I like that for 4 ticks just to these highs. And you can see that's where people probably took their profits. We had a little bit of a sell-off. There's a second entry short right there. Perhaps, I don't think you take that. That's not a good signal bar, and it's above the EMA. So that's how I saw it. We'll see if we get that measured move, but I hope everyone had a great day. I will be back tomorrow.